Recording in progress.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Eye Opener Society. So glad to have everybody joining us on our wonderful show that's taking some new routes and directions. And I'm so happy to have the wonderful Hannah here with me.
What's up?
Hey, um, we are going to be doing an episode tonight that is on Hannah's mind. And she's had it on her mind for a while, and we are finally going to get to it tonight. Real quick, because we like to dive right into the show, but I just wanted to give a quick shout out. As podcasters, we like to promote some other podcasts as well. I've been listening to a few, and I got three that I'm really down with lately. One is Nonsense and Deep Thoughts. I'm going to put links to everything, of course, in the synopsis. So I'd like for you to check them out. But Nonsense and Deep Thoughts, really good. Kind of a variety show because they do the podcast. They are on Facebook. They are on Twitch, I believe. They are on YouTube. I think they do the whole thing all at once. Kind of an idea I like myself,
I
but they
fuck
go
with
down.
Twitch. Twitch is cool.
Yeah, yeah. So they have it. I haven't actually joined any. I've been listening to their older episodes, but they're great. They're local from Pennsylvania, Central PA, and they're real local people. They're really good, though. They're really very wide variety of topics, much like you and I. They go down any road too, but really good people. And we are going to be on their show December the
18th.
18th.
Yeah.
So if you are listening to this now and you want to catch that, December the 18th, it's Nonsense and Deep Thoughts. Also, I've been checking out another really cool podcast as well. It's called the Bell Witch Project. Great people again. If you're into, the Wiccan, the natural, basically, I know a lot of people get confused over the whole Wicca and the witchcraft and all, but this is a regular person who practices the whole Wiccan religion, completely real, totally authentic, very wonderful person. It's just a really relaxing podcast. I really like them. So check out the Bell Witch Project. And then last but not least, another one of my favorite. I've been talking to these guys back and forth. They're really cool people. Great show. It's called Mortal Musings. Mortal
Musing. Moose. Ugh.
Musings.
You know I'm
Mortal
not good at pronouncing things.
I don't know why I mess some things up, and I don't want to mess up their show either because they're really great. But Mortal Musings, that's it. Mortal Musings. Get on them because they're great because they deal with all the serial killer stuff,
Love it.
murders, and just cool. But their personalities are completely funny. They're really great. They got such a great bit of banter going on, but it's a fantastic show. Check them all out. I really do
Yeah.
enjoy all of these podcasts I've been coming across lately, and I'm starting to watch another one called M&M. It's Mike and Monica. They're on YouTube right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, but you gotta check them out. They're a couple, and they've gone through some really hard times mentally and all, and they are putting their entire lives out there. I mean, it's really like raw and honest. And Hannah, I know you're my completely honest. You wear everything on a sleeve yourself, but
That's
they're
me.
definitely, yeah. So you should check them out. So anyway, let's get into this here thing. So Hannah, what's on your mind? What is this show about?
This show is about people taking accountability for their actions.
Nice, I like it.
Yes.
Why did you want to bring this up?
Um, this was months ago, so my memory is a little bit foggy. Um, but I think it was kind of like I think it was something that happened at work. That kind of just like set me off. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm so tired of cleaning up people's messes. Like, people need to be held accountable for their own actions. And it just comes to a point where I think a lot of people just think that people will just brush things under the rug and forget what they did. Um, and not, I'm not even necessarily saying like that you have to, but like not showing appreciation for somebody, fixing their mistakes. So I just feel like a lot of people need to open their eyes about, holding yourself accountable, instead of, just letting other people clean up your mess or not like, you know, not holding. what am I trying to say here?
I don't know.
Mm, it's in my head. I'm just trying to word it. Not learning
Okay.
from holding yourself accountable. It makes sense. Like once we get in more into the show, it'll kind of fall together. But basically just like hold yourself accountable, but don't just forget that experience. You have to take that accountability and grow from it. You can't just keep once you've learned how to hold yourself accountable, you can't just forget. You know what I mean? Like you have to remember that, grow from it, and not make that mistake again. And I just like the reason it set me off is because it's just like constantly I'm dealing with like just me cleaning up other people's messes, mainly at work, and I'm just like, no, people need to really fucking learn. I'm getting tired. I'm tired.
It's funny how most of the topics come up because of work. I mean, we had the
Yeah.
whole "don't let the corporations bully you" and all, but it does. It seems like anybody now, it's always work that brings up something, whether it aggravates
Yeah.
you or inspires you, whatever. But it comes from work and it's dealing with people. But your whole topic of people taking accountability for themselves, I mean, that could be
Anything.
anything, really.
Yeah.
It could be applied anywhere in the world, anywhere in your life. And I see the direction that's happening. A lot of people are just very passive in their lives, and they
Like they think their bullshit's okay, and I'm like, not your bullshit. No, it's not. And I do apologize. I am a little bit tired tonight, but I still really wanted to bring you guys a show. So here I am. If I'm stuttering, slurring my words a little bit, I'm just tired. I've been up shopping since 5 this morning. So
Yeah, and in case anybody doesn't know, this is the Black Friday for 2023.
Yes.
I myself, I'm wide awake because I don't deal with any of that bullshit. I don't go out there shopping. I don't do any of that. Hannah loves it, but she's definitely,
So yeah, it is 10:30 p.m.
Yeah.
And I have been out awake since around 5:20 a.m. this morning. So I'm kicking it. I'm kicking it for y'all.
And she agreed to record 2 shows. This is where we have 2 episodes upcoming. So
Yes.
yeah, I'm proud of her. So, but she's doing the best she can.
But yeah, back to it.
Yeah. So taking accountability, like you've taken accountability for going out shopping all day and then agreeing to come
Yeah,
in here
see?
because you promised me. So
I did. I
that's
promised.
taking accountability for yourself, right?
Look at me. I'm grown.
But yeah, we could apply this, like I said, to pretty much any aspect
Yeah.
of life. Because people are becoming very passive, sitting in front of the TV and just letting everything happen. But nobody is actually grasping life,
Yeah.
taking their accountability, making changes, doing things for themselves. This is something I like to preach too. You can't expect changes in the world. You can't expect changes in your own life without getting up and doing something. And you got to get up and you got to make mistakes. And then when you make those mistakes, you take the accountability for them and you learn to change them as well. So I get exactly where you're coming from with this. It's something, like I said, I think about it a lot. So I'm glad you brought this up for tonight. But, I mean, don't you see it as well? Not just at work, but don't you see it
I
all
see it
around
all
everywhere?
around all the time. Like I find myself like if I'm like overly stimulated or overly exhausted, like I'll find myself just like yelling. And I kind of like take a step back and I'm like, I really need to stop. I really need to do better. And like day by day, like I slowly see myself not yell as much. And I'm holding myself accountable. Like at night when everyone's asleep and I'm like finally taking care of myself, getting myself ready to bed, I like sit and I go in the bathroom and I like talk to myself in the mirror and I'm like, you need to stop. Like you need to get it together. It's not that serious. And like I'm gonna throw myself out there. I like Gary said, I wear my heart on my sleeve. Like, with my son, it's like he's not even 2 yet, and I'm like, why am I yelling at my like son? Like it blink like it's in a blink of an eye that he's grown, and I don't want to look back on the moments and just remember me getting overstimulated and yelling at him. He's not even 2 yet. He's learning, and it's what's the saying? Oh, what's the saying? It's trial and error.
There you go.
And he's learning boundaries and everything like that. So I just find myself every day slowly and slowly, getting better because I'm taking accountability for myself and my actions. I'm like, why the hell did I do that? Why am I acting like this? And, I just take my tools and every day I improve.
And I can see that. I mean, as everybody knows, we all live under the same roof here, and I watch you too. I see things that go on, and I can see where your frustrations lie and all that. But I let it go because that's part of growing.
Yeah.
I could throw you a lifeline when I feel you really need it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I know you can grab hold of yourself, and I know you can do really good. And I watch you grow, and I see you doing really well. You're an excellent mother. You
Yeah.
really are. Um, you, I mean, you got a sense of maturity from like when you were real young. And like I
Yeah.
said, you always remind me of me when I was that age because I wasn't bad, but I wasn't always doing good. Hey, rebellion is
Yeah.
part of growing
It's
up.
part of life.
It is, and you grew up really fast, and I can see that. So you get that kind of a clash, from that rebellious,
Yeah.
way. And you're not that far away from it yet, but you're doing fantastic.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of maturity, and you are able to catch yourself. You are able to use tools that you use, but you take accountability and responsibility for the things that affect you in life, and that makes you better. And
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm proud of you for a lot of things.
And I think it's like important to remember is that like accountability it's not always easy. Like sometimes it like really breaks you down. Like you've seen me in moments where I'm just like, no, I'm not having a good day. Like I'm not. And it's just like me, I think, coming down from everything, and my brain starts to be like, no, you have to take accountability for this. Like, man, you fucked up. Like, you shouldn't have acted like that. Like, you shouldn't have said what you said. You shouldn't have did what you did. And, it's hard and it's emotional. But the thing is that every time I do it, it's like slowly and slowly it gets less. And, it's okay to slip up sometimes, With me, it's like, I'm like, oh my God, why the hell am I yelling? And then, like, the next day I'll be yelling again. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, I need to stop. So I catch myself quicker each time because I keep that, like, accountability bottle in the back of my mind at all times. Like, remember what you said. Remember what you did. Like, stop. You're better than this. And that's just, like, day by day. It's hard. But
it is.
You can do it. Anyone can do it.
Right. And I'm thinking like outside of, the personal world here, when we look at the bigger picture and when we look at society right now, there's lack of accountability for anybody's
everywhere.
actions.
Everywhere.
It's becoming
I can give you 6 examples just from fucking today.
Right. there no longer is any kind of accountability. People are just being allowed to go through the streets doing whatever the hell they want. We're cutting back on, laws, and we're cutting back on punishments, and people sometimes think that's great, and I can understand the mindset behind it. However, it's creating this world where people think they have zero accountability. And in some ways it is true because we really are doing very little to prevent people from getting worse. I believe in rehabilitation myself. However, we need to contain people to give them that kind of responsibility first. We can't just let people run around doing whatever. And unfortunately, we're really getting to that point in life.
It's not okay because it's not safe.
It's not, exactly. So
because accountability is so important. It's a key role that everyone should wear on their sleeve every single day. And like you said, it's just lacking.
It is. And yeah, like I said, it's one thing to sit and talk about what goes on under this roof and small things, but on a much larger scale. And, our show is all about looking at things from another perspective. But when we look at it from that point of view, yeah, it becomes frightening almost. And that's why I say I really appreciate you bringing up the whole accountability theme for this show because it's not just you, it's not just me, but it's the entire world that's falling apart because people aren't taking responsibility. And it's not to say you can't have fun. It's not to say that you can't, be yourself and all. But yeah, take control. And I'm not just talking about, criminals in general. I'm just talking about what it is that you do. Remember, there's going to be a butterfly effect from that. So just remember every little thing you do, and that includes smiling.
Yeah.
That's gonna spread to other people too as well. Being happy, being joyful, that's gonna spread. So if you want to be accountable for that action, that's great. But if you're angry, if you're mad, if you're always miserable, and you bring everybody into that group and you suck everybody into that, you got to take responsibility for that action. It's not always about you. You can reach out for help. Other people can voluntarily join you. But to suck people into that misery, that's something people got to work on too as well. They need to start understanding that it's not just about them. Get your help, but don't suck other people in. And vice versa. Sometimes if you're happy, some people don't want to be happy. Not at that moment. They might have something going on in their lives and they just don't want to deal with that. And I can see that point of view. Sometimes you get around people that are just overly happy, overly joyful, and it's just like, you know what? There's something wrong with you, man. Or it's just like, hey, listen, I'm not having that great of a day right now.
Yeah.
As much as I would like to be happy, I just don't want to be happy right now. I'm trying to deal with what I got going on. So it's difficult to be a human being. It really is.
And I think what's like, when, like, just touching on that, it's like when you're holding accountability, you have to respect people's boundaries, because boundaries and accountability are kind of like two and two together.
Right.
Because I know, like, just for an example, like, oh my God, my husband could be like so happy. Like, Justin will be like just in like a silly, goofy mood. And I'm just like, I just don't want to be touched. I don't want to be looked at. I don't even want you to think about me. Just leave me alone. I need to deal with my, like, I'm coming down from like a whole day worth of just chaos. And I just need I need myself. I need myself. I don't need your comfort. I was like, I love you, but no, like, you gotta go. Like, so I think it's just like a boundary thing too. Like, you have to like understand that, like, when people are just trying to like come down from it and like, come to the accountability of like their day and actions and everything that took place, it's like a boundary that people have to really see. Because if you don't, if you don't respect someone's boundary, that's going to just cause like a complete chaos thing where it's like, then you're going to get in an argument, which like I said, me and my husband, like, and we'll get into an argument. And then I feel like shit, because I'm like, now I got to hold myself more accountable for all the other, like, on top of everything else I dealt with the day. So it's just a lot. So it's really important that people kind of have the full spectrum of holding accountability. Because there's so many steps when it comes to it.
There really is. Man, you're right. The accountability, that word itself, it does. It spreads. It's like such a big...
Yeah, it's like the boundaries, like the emotions that you go through, the decompression of your mind. There's so many steps to it, and I don't think people realize like that. Like, you have to really get into it and really like look into it to kind of completely understand. But that's kind of one of the, like, the few major aspects of it. The decompressions of emotions, the growth, and the boundaries.
Right. Yeah. And again, it's difficult to be human. It really is. It really is. And I realize that more and more. I mean, look at me at my age. Here I am. I'm going through another job, a change of jobs this late in life. Yeah. I mean, it's exciting. But at the same time, I was supposed to be retired by now.
Yeah.
But I have to take accountability. I, have to support myself and my wife. It's very difficult to do it on the salary I'm on right now, so I have to make that kind of change. That's responsibility. It's not something I want to do, but the opportunity's there. The opportunity's knocking. I have to do it. It's my accountability. I have a responsibility to keep a roof over our heads. I got a responsibility to, keep food on the table and whatnot. That's what I need to do. That's part of it. That's part of life. That's part of accountability. So Yeah, I'm so glad you brought this up, and I hope people just understand. Sometimes, I mean, when you're just going through, like, maybe a lot of people don't think the way we do, and it's you just go through the motions of every day. You're just walking
Hmm.
through life, but you just don't realize that every little step you're taking requires some sort of accountability.
Yeah.
And the people that you surround yourself with. I mean, it's one thing if you're just, staying locked in a basement something and nobody's around you, not so bad, you know?
Yeah.
But once other people come into the mix and you start mixing in other personalities and other people's moods and all that, yeah, there's an accountability that needs it. And of course, like you, with work, again, it's,
Yeah.
things
Like
happen.
I
People do things at work that annoy the
oh
crap
my
out of you,
god.
man.
Yeah, like not to get too much into it cuz
Mhm.
I don't know if my coworkers listen to the show, but I really hope not. But not to get too much into it. I just have this one coworker who doesn't really hold accountability for the mistakes that they make. And they like to point the blame on other people. And it just got to the point where I was just so done with not seeing the accountability and just like cleaning up messes and just like constantly being pounded in my ears, like the negativity. I was just like, I can't fucking do this anymore. So I actually told Gary about this. I was like, oh my gosh, I have some work tea.
Mhm.
I was like, I went in and I talked to my director. I work remotely. Every once in a while, I'll go into the office maybe 4 times a year or so. And that day I went into my director's office and I was like, listen, this is the situation. She needs to hold accountability for her actions. I can't be doing this anymore. I can't do it. It's too much on me. I have enough going on my plate. And it was like a brick was lifted off my chest because, then she had those repercussions brought to her. And it just, like I said, it just lifted a weight off of me because it was just like the accountability that I could just take away from myself because I wasn't holding her accountability anymore, if that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
I was giving it back to her. Like, this
Mm-hmm.
is not my shit to deal with anymore. I have
Mm-hmm.
my own accountability to deal with.
Right, and that's part of taking accountability yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
you have your job when you're at work, and then the other people have their jobs, and if they're not doing their jobs, your responsibility sometimes is to bring that out to the
Yeah.
forefront. Let people know, hey, listen, this person's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and
Yeah.
guess what?
And they're pointing the blame at somebody
Somebody
else.
else. Right, and that is
Nonsense.
it's nonsense, but
Yeah.
you're taking the accountability,
Yeah.
for other people.
Yeah.
And hopefully that whole situation worked out because of that. Because sometimes if nobody says
Yeah.
anything,
And
those
sometimes,
people just get away with it.
yeah, and sometimes when you're dealing with that, you find yourself clouded with judgment and then I end up making mistakes. And I'm like, that is so unlike me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a really big perfectionist at my job. Like, I take things very seriously, and like my boss, she'll be one to tell you. She'll call me with like a mistake that I made, and I will sit there and bawl because like I hold myself to like the highest standard. Like, I want to be perfect at my job, and I leave room for mistakes. I understand mistakes happen. We're all human, but I take it very personally because that's just the type of personality that I have.
Mm-hmm.
So I hold myself very like accountable for everything that I do with my job.
And that's just like your mom too. You got that from her, and sometimes that's a bad thing
It
because
is.
it is because you when the small things become like absolute, like that weight that you were talking about that
Yeah.
was lifted, so that weight crushes down on you,
Yeah,
and
it
it really
does.
shouldn't because it's small things, and I think
Mhm.
you and your mom too. It just sometimes some things are just too small to worry about,
Yeah.
and it's
I know.
difficult for me who I usually don't give a shit about anything, um, and it takes a real lot for me to get really worried about it, but I have a hard time sometimes seeing things from like your mom's point of view or from your point of view because I look at it and I'm like, well, what the hell are you crying about? It's my, But then that's me taking accountability. I got to go back and say, okay, well, I'm not seeing it from your angle. I'm not
Yeah,
seeing it
but you
from
can
your.
feel it.
Yeah, I could definitely feel it. So I got to go back and say, okay, not everybody's like me.
Mhm.
People have different personalities. People have different ways of looking at things. People, have different types of emotions than everybody
Yeah.
else. So yeah, so I got to take accountability for myself half the time because
Yeah.
I can get very aggravated when I see people making, you know, something out of absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So that's definitely, it's good that you brought that up because it
Yeah.
made me realize something about myself.
Yeah. Well, it's the curveball in here. Kind of a different aspect of accountability because there are different types. Something that I struggle with, you know, every single day, Monday through Friday, um, is I work. I work full time. My mom takes care of my son while I work. Of course, I go in and help her as much as possible. But the strong hold of feeling like not necessarily like a horrible mom because I know I'm not. Like I give my son the world. I give my son more than I ever had as a child. You know, my mom was a single mom. She did what she could. You know, so I always try to give my son, you know, more than I had. The stronghold of me that really brings me down, and it's a really tough battle that I have with myself, is I feel like I'm lacking accountability for my son while I'm working. And I just like, I feel like a really strong guilt that, you know, like my mom's out there, she's like creating all these memories with my son, and I'm just stuck in the office working. So it's like a really, sorry, I'm getting choked up. It's a really strong battle for me because I just feel like I'm lacking the accountability, like to take care of my own child, you know?
Well, to touch on that, because again, now I look at that from a whole different angle. It's like you're not the only one. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody works.
Yeah.
While they leave, most people don't have the luxury that you have, where
Yeah.
you're in the same house. You're
Hmm.
working from home. Not a lot of people do it. A lot of people got to spend money on daycare, and their kids are
Yeah.
gone. They're inside daycares, and then you're
Fuck
worried
that.
about all that nonsense. So you got it
Yeah.
really well on that point. And I think, and if you don't mind me being brutally honest, because I love you anyway, but I'll tell you right off, you don't got really much to worry about, but
Yeah.
you worry about these things.
Yeah.
Um, and I think you are always trying to stick that I'm a mom, I'm a great mom. Everybody's a great mom,
Yeah.
It's just you are. You're great.
Yeah.
And I think you need to start realizing that. You're doing the right
Yeah.
thing, but you're just putting way too much stress on yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what's causing that problem. And I can always see that. It's like, but you got it really good. You
Yeah.
really do. You really have everything sometimes better than other people.
Yeah.
And I think if you start seeing it that way, it
Hmm.
might not be as stressful for you.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't get to see their kids growing up because they are stuck at work
Yeah.
in an office, stuck there. So you got it pretty good. And
Yeah.
I also got to say, I mean, let's really throw the curveball since we're on that subject. Listen, if we go back to like the 50s and all, listen, it was just the man that used to go to work.
I know. Yeah.
Because things were, we used to afford things with one salary. Man goes out to work, the wife stayed home raising a kid, and I don't want to sound sexist or anything, but that's just the way of life, the way it was.
Yeah.
And then things changed. Hey, if the female half wanted to go to work, and they started going to work and into the workforce, but then they threw that problem in there
Yeah.
because now, what do you do with the kids?
Yeah.
Listen, I never had that problem. I
Yeah.
didn't have kids of my own, so I never really dealt with that. So far be it for me to talk about it, but I can see, But
Yeah.
when I look at it, you're doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing fantastic.
I do my best.
Yeah,
And I think that's what, at the end of the day, like I remind myself, like I'm doing my best, and like there's nothing that I could do about it at this point in time, and with the economy and everything like that. And like I know that like my son's having like the best care, because like I learned how to be a mom from my mom.
right.
So it's just like this thing, It's just this thing because like
It's your
I
personality, but
yeah, it's my
it is.
personality, and I like love him with my whole heart. And like I feel bad because like by the end of the day, I'm just like I'm so fucking exhausted. Can we just chill on the couch? But like he doesn't want to chill on the couch, and I'm like, oh my god. And that's where I find myself just exhausted and yelling because I'm just exhausted
Right.
mentally, physically. Even though I just do an awful job, my hands hurt. But I
But you're
hold
not the only one,
yeah.
too,
I
A
hold
lot of
myself
people have that.
accountable.
Yeah. And some people don't hold themselves
Yeah.
accountable. And it escalates from there.
Yeah.
And that's when the problems really start. So, like I said, you're doing great.
Yeah.
You're doing great by realizing and taking accountability where other people aren't,
Yeah.
And sometimes that causes a lot more problems. But I wouldn't worry about it if I was you.
Yeah.
You know, aren't we supposed to be like a meditation show? Like, shouldn't you be meditating?
I fucking meditate
Dealing with
every day.
this? Yeah.
Gary will come upstairs and he'll just like sit down, and I'll just be like in a OCD. What's that? OCD like manic episode,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll just be like, "Oh, okay, I see what you're
Mm-hmm.
doing." Cause me, I have really bad OCD, and I'll go into like these manic episodes, but I'll start cleaning, and cleaning is like my meditation. So I get in this zone, and like cleaning just makes me feel so great.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I usually will do.
Yep. I've watched it many times, and
Many times.
listen, go for it.
He'll
Whatever
like go upstairs.
helps
I'll be
you.
like mopping the walls. He'll be like, "Oh, okay, this is what we're doing here," and I'm like, "Yes, yeah, we are."
Yeah, it is. But listen, as long as you have your outlet
Yeah,
and you're able to benefit from that,
Mhm.
so that's what matters, and that's what's important. And so,
yeah.
I listen. If anything, I'm proud of you.
Thank
all right?
you.
I'm absolutely proud of you, and you know, I'm proud that you're sitting here doing the show with me tonight, and then we're gonna record another episode. This is where we got all of our episodes down. You're a trooper. You're doing
Yeah.
good, you know, and you don't have much to worry about. You don't.
Yeah.
I think you're doing well. I think you take perfect accountability for everything, so you
Yeah.
get through it. And I hope everybody out there in the listening audience too, you know, take accountability and just realize Hannah and I, we are just regular people.
Yeah.
We just happen to have a podcast. Anybody could get a microphone and do their own podcast,
Yeah.
but we're real people. And that's what I want our audience to understand. We go through life just like everybody else does. We have ways of dealing with our problems. Maybe you're on the outside looking in and you say, hey, that might work for me. And that's the goal of this. And then we sit and talk about conspiracies and all this other stuff. So, hey, the show's all over the place.
Yeah. Just the moral of like this whole episode is just, taking accountability. It doesn't have to be such a harsh thing for you to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Correct.
it's just take it day by day. Just be like, you know what? Why did I overreact like that? If you're going to scream at someone, take accountability and apologize,
Mm-hmm.
and then, learn from it.
Right.
Just take accountability day by day. Just small things. Just start taking accountability for it, and you will live such a more clearer and positive life. I think that's the big message that I wanted to get across. Is that it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be such an aggressive thing to do. It's just the small things that you see that you do can upset you and upset others around you, and it creates this negative bubble.
Right.
And once you start taking more and more accountability, that bubble shrinks, and then the light shines through, and then the bubble pops.
Oh, wow. I like that visual.
Yeah.
That's great.
And the positivity spreads.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Yeah.
more self-awareness and accountability that you have, the more positivity you will broadcast.
There you go. I like that. And I hope
Yeah.
everybody gets some help from this. I think Hannah really did. She really visualized that very well. And I hope everybody else is just in that positive bubble and understand what we're trying to say on this show. Because again, yeah, everybody's going to have their struggles. Everybody's got to take accountability for those struggles. Try and make things right. Reach out when you need to reach out. And just understand that sometimes your actions are going to affect other people.
And have repercussions.
And then you're going to have those repercussions. So really appreciate you bringing up that subject.
Yes.
Like I said, we got to record some more, and I don't want to overwork Hannah because this here was, her show, and she brought up the topic, and I know she gets all worked up over this. So I appreciate it, though. I mean, this is why I have you on
Yeah.
the show. This is the yin and the yang right here. So we want everybody to focus on that positivity. And I want everybody also to go to our website, eyeopenersociety.onpodium.co. And don't forget, I'm going to have all the links in the synopsis for the other podcasts that we've been talking about. And also, listen, if you made it this far, we are working on a YouTube show. And this YouTube show, I know we had a YouTube channel, if anybody followed. We had some past episodes, and like I said, we got no money. We work on a budget of $0 per month. So we can't bring you that high-tech stuff. Our YouTube videos were just awesome. Sometimes it was dark and you couldn't even see us, but we just threw it up in there because we wanted to keep
We did our
that
best.
YouTube. Yeah, we did our best. It was always fun, but I took those down. I only left up the ones when we have guests come in. What we're working on now, and I'm going to reveal the title right now. Behind the Eyes. And it's going to be a behind the scenes for our podcast. And it's going to be a once a month show. We're going to put it out. And Hannah and I are going to sit and we're going to talk just like her and I do when the microphones are off. And we're going to go down some of our previous episodes and add to that
Yeah.
some things that maybe we couldn't get to speak about, or maybe we had some afterthoughts on it. So it's going to be all behind the scenes. Maybe we'll talk about getting some other guests to come in and whatnot. But that's the vision I have. And there'll be a pilot episode coming up soon as I get some equipment and we could start recording. So again, eyeopenersociety.onpodium.co. You get all of the episodes right there. And you'll also get links for the YouTube videos, and those videos will go up on our website too as well. So I hope everybody enjoyed the episode, and I hope everybody takes good care of themselves, mind, body, and soul. We'll see you again
See
soon.
ya.